What's going on, everybody? It's Destiny Malibu. Welcome back to the Destiny Malibu podcast. It's just going to be me today because Desiree is traveling in Florida. So everybody say, I love you, Desi, and I miss you in the comment section. I know I'm missing her right now. But today we are going to be talking about another one of the 7 pillars of mental health. We've talked about self-love. We've talked about social life. We've talked about purpose. We've talked about exercise. And today we are going to be talking about a very, very important pillar, which is food. And before we dive into this topic, I want to read you guys a quote from Harvard Health, and it says, when we consider the connection between the brain and the gut, it's important to know that 90% of serotonin receptors are located in the gut. In a relatively new field of nutritional psychiatry, we help patients understand how gut health and diet can positively or negatively affect their mood. When someone is prescribed an antidepressant, such as an SSRI, the most common side effects are gut-related, and many people temporarily experience nausea or gastrointestinal problems. There's an anatomical and physiologic two-way communication between the gut and the brain via the vagus nerve. The gut-brain axis offers us a greater understanding of the connection between diet and disease, including depression and anxiety. So I have always been extremely fascinated by the gut-brain axis, and right there in the quote you heard that 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. So I'm sure you've heard the saying, you are what you eat, and that is such a true statement, because when it comes to our mood, our mental health, and in general, just how we're feeling, our energy levels, everything, what we're eating really affects how we're going to feel physically, but also emotionally. And that's what we've been discovering more and more with new studies. Like they said, the new field of nutritional psychiatry is really starting to make some really amazing discoveries. What happens is in our guts, we have good and we have bad bacteria. And there's kind of an ecosystem and a balance where the good bacteria should be overpopulating the bad. But what happens a lot of times is, maybe we're not sleeping as much, maybe we're just not being as careful with the health of our food choices. And if that bad bacteria starts to overpopulate the good and the ratio starts to get imbalanced, this is when we can really start to see problems with our health, not only physically, but because it's going to affect our mood because of the gut-brain axis. And the gut-brain axis is really fascinating. And I know I've experienced this before. If you're nervous, maybe you get butterflies in your stomach, or, your stomach feels kind of weird. And conversely, if our emotions can affect our stomach and cause us to feel butterflies and nervousness and all of these types of things in our stomach, then also the opposite is true. So if our gut is not balanced and the bad bacteria is overpopulating the good, that can also send signals to our brain and cause sad emotions. So the gut-brain axis is really fascinating to me, and it's really, really important for us to make choices with our food that are going to help us thrive and be the best versions of ourselves physically and mentally. I think the importance of food and what we're eating a lot of times can get overlooked in the mental health sphere. And I personally, when I was younger and I was really struggling with my mental health, I didn't know at the time, but I was struggling with a lot of food sensitivities. And inflammation in the gut, inflammation in general, is one of the root causes of disease. And I didn't realize that all of this inflammation going on with my gut, because I was sensitive to the foods I was eating, was also affecting my mental health. So I know that everyone has a different version of eating and what feels good to them. And I think it's really important to emphasize that I don't believe there's one size fits all for a way of eating. I think everybody's different. I think it's really important to, speak with your doctor, speak with your physicians, and figure out what way of eating is healthiest for you and for your body and your body type. I tried a lot of different styles of eating to figure out what made me feel my best physically and emotionally, my mental clarity, my energy, my skin, all of those things. I wanted to see what way of eating really made me feel my best. And after trying, a lot of different styles of eating, vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, and, all paleo, all of these different types of ways of eating, I found Dr. Gundry and Dr. Paul Saladino, and both of them have so much information and are such incredibly intelligent men. And I've learned a lot from them. And I'd say that the way I eat now is a combination of their suggestions, Dr. Gundry and Dr. Paul Saladino. And for the most part, I focus on a whole foods based diet. So that's what works for me. And what that looks like for me is a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables like spaghetti squash and zucchini and butternut squash and mushrooms and spinach and mixed greens and lots of fruit and lots of healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, pasture raised butter. I do well with eating meat. I know not everybody eats meat, and that's totally personal. Tortillas out of cassava flour with water and olive oil, mix it together with cassava flour and cook them on the grill and put butter on them. And that's basically what I eat every single day. And I feel really, really good like that. My mental clarity is good. My skin improves so much. My energy improves so much. And I just discovered that a few years ago, I was living in a very, very, very high state of inflammation. And like we just talked about from Harvard Health, 90% of serotonin is made in your gut. So if your whole body is really inflamed, if your stomach is inflamed, and that serotonin isn't being produced properly, it can really, really affect not only your physical health, but your mental health too. I found what works for me, and I'm really, really happy with it. And I feel better than I've ever felt in my whole life, honestly, following this low inflammation way of eating. Though we all have different ideas of what the right menu looks like for us as individuals, I think we all can agree that I'm trying to grab more natural foods, more things like fruit, more things that come from the earth, I think just like instinctively makes more sense. And so let's all just try to get those fruits in, try to get those, veggies in, and just really make choices with our food with the mentality of how can I nourish my body today? How can I give my body the best fuel, the most premium grade fuel to function at its highest level so I can live a long life, a healthy life, an energetic life? That's what we want to do. So I want to encourage you guys to make those healthy food choices and to not forget that the food we eat has a direct impact on our mental health. Well, I love you guys so much, and I hope that you were able to incorporate this pillar into your life and pick foods that nourish your bodies. And I also want to say a huge thank you to Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. So the dates for our upcoming shows at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas are, as of now, today is October 13th, tomorrow, October 14th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., and that's going to be a live podcasting premiere at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas and an acoustic performance, which is going to be really fun. October 21st from 7 p.m. to midnight at the Shag Room at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas. And for those of you who are coming to the show, you are going to hear my brand new single, Say My Name, for the very first time before anyone else. So make sure you come to the show. It's going to be so much fun. And then November 4th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and December 9th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., which will also be live podcasting at the Virgin Hotels Las Vegas and acoustic performances. So make sure you guys come out to that, and make sure you enter our giveaway. The Virgin Hotels Las Vegas has been so gracious to partner with us and giving away free weekend getaways to Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotel. And all you have to do to enter is subscribe to the Destiny Malibu podcast, rate the show, and leave a review. You're going to want to take a screenshot of your review before you hit send and email it to contest@destinymalibu.com, because it does take 48 hours for the review to go live. And that's all you have to do to enter the giveaway, and we will be announcing the winners very, very soon. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in Vegas.